It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Insight. I'm Jim Quinn, and joining me is the mayor of the city of Vineland, the record-setting mayor of the city of Vineland, Mayor Anthony Fanucci. Mayor, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Jim. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Mayor's looking really good, I'm telling you. He's getting younger every day.
Trying to keep up with Jim. If only I could have your energy when I get there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, it's interesting. I definitely have ADD. I get bored very easy, and thank you for coming in, because what I had to look forward to all my days are my shows, and none are nicer than being here at the Quinn restaurant at Lincoln and Landis in Vineland. Fabulous food. Oh my God, the prices are phenomenal still. Two for $30, $15 a person per meal. Just recently I had a delicious turkey dinner with stuffing and vegetable and salad and dessert, all that for when Joe Pepito was with me, all that for $15. I mean, you can't beat that, Mayor.
You cannot beat that.
I mean, 30, 15 each.
You know, and the food is great. The service is always great. I'll be here actually for a breakfast tomorrow morning with a couple buddies before I head into work. We come in early once a month, and they do a great job. And speaking of my buddy Joe Pepitone, how's he doing? I haven't seen him in a while.
He's doing pretty well.
Good.
He had some operation. Everything's going well
Good.
for him. And he retired from education as a guidance counselor.
Yep.
But he also is working for a company where he does psychotherapy, like psychologist type work. He does that part-time.
He's such a great guy.
He is.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, you know, it's funny, speaking of him, and when he and I go to the Pegasus restaurant up in Malaga, right?
Yeah.
He's like a rock star. Mr. Pep, because all the kids that work there went to
students.
Kelsey. I said, Joe, if you lived in Franklin Township, you could be the mayor.
That's right.
Because everybody knows him.
That's right.
Everybody likes him.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he really is. And, of course, another Vineland guy. Speaking of Vineland, what a great road department. Your guys did a super job.
Thank you. They really got ahead of this storm, which was great. You know, they've done a fantastic job through this whole winter season, even considering the early on storms in late December and January that were so frigidly cold.
Yeah.
This storm gave us a little bit of a slight break because it never got below 20 degrees. And, you know, when it gets that cold, it's difficult.
Yeah,
Salt
sure
doesn't
is.
react,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
And you're plowing. It's like plowing a rock at certain points.
Yeah,
so,
good point.
but they're there. And Director Neer, you know Jimmy Neer.
Oh, I love Jimmy.
Jimmy's
My God,
great.
What a great worker. Jeez.
Yeah, and he literally, you know, we prep for the storms. We talk during the storm events. We talk after and debrief. And he has a great plan that gets rolling. We talk about it. He puts together a 12-hour shift. And then has the next crew getting ready to come behind them, so our people aren't burned out.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times,
Yeah.
you know, they were running 16 hours.
It's a lot.
And it's hard. And
Yeah.
I only want our men and women running 16 hours if it's an absolutely brutal storm and there's no other alternative but to continue to push through, which they're saying we may see next week.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really looking forward to. I was hoping this would be the end of this stretch and we'd be
me
getting
too.
close to getting out of the woods with this, but
Yeah.
potentially it's a little early to call, but potentially they're saying Wednesday, Thursday, Friday could be blizzard-like conditions.
That's terrible.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So, although it's better than Chicago, I think they had 1.5 or 2 feet dumped on them already.
Goodness, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy cow.
So, bring
Yeah.
on spring.
Yeah, you bet, because every time it snows, the city, the county have to put out a lot of money, like you're saying, 12-hour shifts to get the roads cleared. And the good point you made too, Mayor, because for many years, I was in charge of the county road department as my freeholder assignment was public works. And this was interesting. I got elected in January of 1983. In February of '83, we had a horrendous snowstorm. I was actually locked in the building. I couldn't even get out for a day and a half.
Wow.
And, you know, my first storm, I had to go over and talk to the radio stations and do all the things we had to do. But to the fellas' credit, they worked very, very hard, long shifts and that type of stuff to get it done. But you made a good point. When the temperature is below 20, the salt isn't going to work. You know, it just won't melt at that cold of a temperature.
No.
So, you know. And
especially when you're not getting sunshine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been cloudy. And Of course, I cringe now because I have 2 giant parking areas at my 2 businesses, and then of course my driveway and my friend's driveway. By the time you get all that done, it's another $400 just to get
every single
things
time.
done. Yes,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's more going on. But I'll tell you what, I have a wonderful fellow named Trevor Valentine that he's with Cumberland Tree Service, and he does the plowing, does a great job for us. But some of the good things we were going to talk about too is the thing that people don't realize is Vineland has so many wonderful assets. One of the biggest assets they have is the Vineland electric utility, and it's just fantastic. In fact, I tell the story how much I love the Vineland electric utility. Years ago, I started the Cumberland Independent Softball League on South Vineland, on Lincoln Avenue, South Lincoln Avenue. Kerry Carastesi and Castellini, and those guys were with me. And I went to Atlantic Electric because that's who serviced that area.
Back then, sure.
So I said to them, could you guys donate some used electric poles to us to put lights on? We don't have used poles. Well, I went by down behind Bacon School, and there was all kind of used poles. But Vineland came through for us and just were wonderful. And I'll tell you another thing, speaking of Vineland being wonderful, I guess it was in that same era or so, I started running a benefit softball tournament for Cumberland County College. And we held it in Vineland, 10 fields. The people from the shore are going, oh my God, this is fabulous, because they don't have 10 fields all Cape May County.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
And they were like, they loved it, and we did well, and everybody, your people were so helpful, and we made lots of money for the college and donated to their sports program and things like that. So got a lot of great memories and a lot of great things that are happening. But tell me what's going on now with the Vineland electric utility.
So the utility's doing great. We have a lot of different upgrades going on with our infrastructure currently. We have a number of different things with expansions in the city where it's where our electric users are growing, which is a great thing for us because it's more revenue. We are, of course, keeping up with, giving reliable, cost-effective power. As you know, there's been a lot going on in the Atlantic electric territory, and there's been a lot of criticism in the last number of months by, local people, elected officials. They've been kind of being attacked for their rate structure, and apparently the Board of Public Utilities has signed off on increases for those utilities, that they're able to do that again now. For our standpoint, that gives us, separates us even further. Our rates are, staying the same. The only problem is with rates is that there are factors that are outside of our control as a municipal utility and not an investor-owned utility. And what happens with these rate increases and the demand and this war on fossil fuels that's been going on all around the country and especially in our state, it has made natural gas more expensive, and that's how we run our turbines, and that's how the majority of the turbines that are in the area powering PJM, our grid, how they're powered. Of course, there's a nuclear power allocation there. There's a hydropower allocation. There's solar, and other renewables that are being utilized every day. But natural gas is still, a very clean, easy way to burn. Well, when these things start happening and the demand goes higher for the gas, of course, the prices go up. That we can't control, but with everything else, we're there. But we're significantly less than our competitors around us, which is great. The residents of Vineland still enjoy great low electric rates and very consistent rates. I've not increased our rates as mayor, and which is good. And you figure we're going into year we're in year 9 now, right?
Wow.
We don't anticipate anything right now. You don't have a crystal ball for what the future brings, but again, our rates can fluctuate slightly based on fuel procurement costs, and what's happening, especially when the demand goes very high, when it's extremely cold like it's been.
That's true.
So, we tell people always be cautious of what you're using. Take a look at what you're burning up. Some houses have electric heat, and that's brutal. And they're not efficient in many cases, because they're older units. So we see a little bit of that around the area, but the utility's going strong. We're trying to do some succession planning in there, some building up and getting some young men and women into the programs to start their apprenticeships and get through these ground hand programs so that someday they can become linemen, and then bringing in electricians to work on substations and teach. because a lot of the people it's an aging workforce.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Over the last 8 years, we've looked at good recruitment. We've had a good young crop come in.
Oh, that's super.
Those men and women are progressing, and now it's time to get some younger men and women behind them and get them prepared. But yeah, we do so well, and we're so grateful for the electric and water utilities for what we're able to provide our residents and businesses, because it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it really does. And one of the things too that makes it so nice if you have a business, why you want to locate in Vineland, is the Vineland Electric Utility has much more reasonable rates than Atlantic Electric. And it's just amazing how well you guys have done in bringing businesses to Vineland. It's fabulous. I go through that industrial park and I just go, oh my God, this is amazing.
Thank you.
It is wonderful.
A lot of expansions to current businesses that have existed there. We're seeing that, which is wonderful, because that means they're reinvesting and staying because they're doing well.
Yeah.
New businesses coming in, new properties being sold, development happening strategically all over that industrial area, which is fantastic, because we've seen continued job availability.
Yeah.
New tax ratables, new electric users. Cold storage facilities are expanding.
Yeah,
like wildfire here. It's amazing to see that, and they're great because they're no drain on the schools.
That's right.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
They're pumping revenue into the utilities between water and electric, which is great, and the sewage authority when they're in those territories, which is wonderful. So yeah, we have a lot going on. We're very proud of the progress we've made over the last 8 years. We have some significant things happening, we think, this year in year 9 and then in year 10 for next year, with growth with business, and it's wonderful. And frankly, there's so many jobs available right now. It's unbelievable. We've really grown. When I first took office as mayor, we were coming in off of a previous segment of administration where businesses were leaving the area. People did not want to be here, and they just were not comfortable with the leadership. And then, fortunately, when we took over, we came in with plans, and our plans have worked, and people have a renewed faith in Vineland. Our marketing initiatives, which you probably see all over, are doing great.
Yeah.
The notoriety is great. People are realizing how accessible we are to New York, to Philadelphia, to Atlantic City, to Cape May, and they're realizing the quality of life in Cumberland County is great, especially here.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Yep, it's beautiful. I mean, let's face it, we are in God's country, and it's got all this beautiful land, and Vineland is 69 square miles, I believe,
yes, sir.
Right, in land, and you're bigger than Greenland.
How about that?
Population-wise.
How about that?
Maybe you could be the governor of Greenland. No, that's not going to be a 51st state. That's Canada.
But, you're right.
Greenland's just going to be a possession. I guess.
It gets too cold up there too. I'm good where I'm at. This is too cold for me. I understand why we have so many snowbirds around here.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, though, I did read an article today where Trump is not making the Canadian residents very happy, and I was reading where they are now going to boycott Disney World, Disneyland, and coming to America. They're talking about going to Mexico or going to like Nova Scotia and all that kind of area, because they're not happy with him wanting to push them being the 51st state. Anyway, it's so interesting.
He has a special personality.
Well, he sure does, doesn't he? Have you met him?
Yes, a number of times.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's been was very kind and gracious to myself and to my family when we have seen him when we were in Florida. So I can't speak negatively, of him in that respect. He's very personable and genuine. I know that at that level, you have a very difficult job to do.
Yeah.
I know how difficult it is, and as do you, as a mayor and and a county commissioner and freeholder back then.
And apply that by 100. What he's got to do.
Yeah, I mean, I see my hair is gray now. I don't know if I'd have any left if I went to Washington. But I always tell people, whether you like the sitting president or not, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Joe Biden, whether it's Bill Clinton, whether it's Ronald Reagan, you take your pick, John Kennedy.
Yeah.
You never want to root for them to fail.
No.
Right?
No.
Because if they fail, we all fail.
Yeah, you bet.
And listen, I've agreed and disagreed with members of my party and members of the opposite party over the years. But like, you're always praying in the back of your mind, please make a good decision. Make a decision for the people. Make a smart decision. The problem in our country, and people like to throw the term special interest around a lot, but it does exist, right? These special interests, and it's difficult to govern when people are so heavily influenced by those special interests. And I think people need to remember their prayer is powerful, and you got to believe in the power of prayer to get through to some of these men and women in office. But that they're so divisive.
Yeah, it is
and
sad, isn't it?
The fighting is just unreal.
Yeah.
And the worst part is they can't find 1 ounce of common ground for the betterment of the people, because frankly, there's members on both sides that are so bullheaded. They forgot that they're elected by the people to serve the people, and they're screaming that they're serving an agenda, and whatever the topic is, maybe as minute as this paper that the straw comes in, right? Yeah. To say, well, this is what I'm fighting for, but there's a whole glass of water here that feels left out.
Yeah. Good analogy.
Yeah.
We're talking with Mayor Fanucci from the great city of Vineland. We'll be back with more with the mayor right after these messages.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find Him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find Him. That's by personal experience with Him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to Him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. Mayor Anthony Fanucci is our co-host of the show, and I want to thank Yilmaz Kankel and the wonderful people here at the Queen Restaurant, Lincoln Atlantis in Vineland. And let me tell you, it's a beautiful facility, folks. And as the mayor said, I'm not a morning person, but he comes in and has breakfast with staff and gets things going. And they're open breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you just don't get better prices. It's amazing when you think about the inflation that you can get many dinners, but I get turkey and stuffing and vegetable, and it's big salad. You could get soup if you want, soup or salad, and a dessert. All for $15.
And they got to see the cakes in this place.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
These cakes are massive.
Yeah, they
are.
The
cakes, the pies, the cookies, the this, the that. Yeah. And I have a sweet tooth. I get that from my mother. So every time I walk in here, I look at it, and I got to turn away, especially when it's early in the morning, because you don't put sweets in front of me. No. I'll take it down anytime. But in losing all that weight I've lost over the years, you could eat it back on real fast.
Yeah, boy, it comes on quick, doesn't it? It's like, thank God for Dr. Atiyah. Now this guy, I'm proud of him because you did the intermittent fasting.
Yeah, I still do, and that's how I maintain.
Yeah, that's super.
I've been training now for a little over a year again, back in the gym and working out and doing some things. Not like I used to. No. I can't operate like I was 20 and 30 anymore. You know how it is, but it's been good, and I've been able to maintain and keeping my health in line the best I can. Really I just got to figure out how to get rid of my stress levels.
Yeah, that's, well, being the mayor of a city of almost 60-some thousand, 65,000.
Yeah, well, you figure that's what the census tells
Maybe
us, but
70,
you know how it is,
yeah.
especially during the
Yeah.
farm season here.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
many people
Yeah.
are here. We're 70 plus.
Yeah. Speaking of farm season, I am so excited. Next Tuesday night, I get to have dinner with one of my favorite farmers in all of Cumberland County, Joe Spracio.
Oh, my man,
God,
Joe's great.
Isn't he, though? I love that
I miss
man.
Joe. He's
Yeah.
such a good human being and a great family.
Yes, exactly.
Was
His
great,
wife
as a freeholder when he was a freeholder.
Yes, he was. He was my favorite. Well, it's funny. I was in government a total of 35 years between local and county. And during that period of time, most of the time I was single. And after the meeting, I would go somewhere to get something to eat. And Joe was the only person in all those years at one meeting we'd go to Town Tavern in Bridgeton, another one we'd go to Winfields in Millville. So Tuesday night we're meeting at the Town Tavern in Bridgeton, and he invited my cousin George Castellini.
Oh, Georgie.
Yeah.
My man.
I haven't seen him in a while.
I haven't. You know what?
Yeah.
George is great. I haven't seen him either, and I miss him. I used to see him all the time,
Yeah.
and talk to him. And now he's pretty much retired and enjoying life a little bit, which is good. He worked hard.
Yes, he did.
And what a sweetheart his wife is.
Oh, and that's how he's my cousin. Through his
through
wife.
her.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I should have known. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Really just great. Is she still at the bank?
I'm not sure. I know she was.
She worked at
with
Century for a long
yeah,
time.
she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She may still be there.
Yeah.
I'll ask George Tuesday night to be sure.
His son works for us in the electric utility.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I
Does
did
a
remember
great
that.
job.
Yeah.
George is great. Really,
Yeah, he
really great.
is. I've enjoyed what a great time with he and I and Joe were on the freeholders at that time. We were still freeholders. Just really enjoyed their company. Not that I didn't like the others, but we bonded.
No, but still,
really,
right.
really well. Speaking of great people, Keith Petrosky is retiring.
Can you believe that?
Oh my God! Yeah, there's one of the most organized men I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, he's wrapping it up at the end of the month, and an amazing career. I'm actually being one of the people recorded on a video tribute for him tomorrow morning,
nice.
as well. And they said, "Well, what are you going to say?" And I said, me, I usually wing it. I said, "But this is an easy one." I said, because there's so many incredible things you can say about this guy.
Yeah.
And just his commitment, and and I'll be saying this probably tomorrow morning, but
Yeah.
when I was a council president, I attribute so much of my success as a councilman and as a president and leading those meetings to Keith.
Yeah.
Organized.
Experience,
Everything was right there.
Yeah.
The dialogue sheets were there. You could communicate, and he and I would communicate on the agendas and do so much. It's good for him because he deserves it.
Yeah.
In his retirement, I wish him and the family well. But he is a loss to the administration.
Yeah. Do you know who's going to replace him?
Yeah, Rich Franchetta, who's the deputy clerk.
Okay.
He's also the fire director in the city of
That's
Vineland.
where I've heard his name before.
Rich is a great guy. He's been learning under Keith for the last several years.
That's good.
Very organized, good skill set, good with technology.
That's great.
Conscientious worker. A lot of similar attributes
That's
to
good.
Keith.
Yeah.
And so we're very blessed to have that, and that he's had so many years with Keith, to learn a lot. And I'm really happy for Keith. Him and Lois are wonderful people.
Yes,
and
they are.
And they deserve. Listen, you know what? We work till sometimes we're dead.
Yeah, that's true.
And I admire people that can actually retire and enjoy life. I don't know that I'll ever do it. You haven't figured it out either.
I'll never. I don't have any hobbies. This is my hobby, being with you.
That's
This is
okay. I'll
wonderful.
take
This
it.
is what I enjoy.
I'll take it.
Wait, because I keep saying that. Seriously, folks, I keep telling people I'm going to die on the set. At the TV station, I have Christie's come pick my body up. But I love doing what I do. And it was funny, when I taught school, I used to say that to my students. Do what you love. If you want to be an electrician, be the best electrician, or auto mechanic, or a teacher, or scientist, whatever it is. But you got to love it.
Yeah.
You've been fortunate. You love your business dealings, and you love serving the people.
Yep.
And that's what's wonderful. And I've been lucky. 35 years I had in government to serve the people of Millville and the people of Cumberland County, and most of those years were wonderful years. And I really enjoyed except for one guy. I enjoyed all the time that I worked in county and city government.
There's always one, Jim.
Oh my God, this one takes the cake. Woo. Anyway, it is what it is. But speaking of that, you have. I'm really glad to see that Paul's back. Paul Spinelli is your council president. But you've always had a pretty good relationship with your council, haven't you?
Always. We've always tried to look at things as a team. When we were running, I wanted to recruit good people to be here. Because everybody's like, yes, it gets branded as Team Fanucci because it's how it's branded through the campaign.
Oh, sure, it should be.
But in reality, it's Team Vineland. When you're elected, you're here to serve.
Yeah.
And it's important. And, we've both served in levels of government where you've had bad people on one side or another. Yeah. And that's not good. But I wanted to make it very clear that when governing at my level as a mayor, I wanted a legislative body that was going to be able to understand my vision, help me impart that vision, and help me impart that for the success of Vineland. It's not the success of me or you or Ryan or my family. Right. It's the success of all the people that either live here, visit here, or do business here. Right. And that's the thing. A lot of people get into this for an ego. And I'm sure you've seen it in Millville and at the county over the years.
Well, and what you bring to the table, and so did I, is we have the business background.
Yeah.
We understand what it is to make a payroll and to do the things that businessmen have to do. And I remember it was interesting when I first got elected mayor of Millville, Lou Thompson, who was like the Keith Petrosky
Great guy.
there,
Love Lou.
knew everything going on. And he said to me, and I guess in the past this is what happened, he goes, Jim, I'm going to put a phone in at your office on High Street. I said, no, I'm going to come down. No, I'm going to put a phone in. I said, no, I wanted to be the mayor of Millville. I'm going to be there every day. Luckily, I had great people working for me. I didn't have to go in very often, and I was able to devote full time to the city. And of course, thank God for the different people that work there. Besides Lou, you had the Economic Development Department, and all the good people that were there. And I loved, and it was like, that was one of my dreams as a kid. I always wanted to be the mayor of Millville, and I had that success for 12 years. Millville's form of government, though, is so weird. And just reading the history, the Millville Historical Society had a whole thing on Millville from the 1700s or whatever. And one of the factors is I'm looking at all the mayors over that period of time, and to their credit, they gave me credit that I'm the only one ever in the city's history to serve 3 terms. Everyone, and Mike Santiago did get 2 terms, but up until when I got elected, every single mayor was 1 term. That's it. But that's that form of government. You're not running as mayor, you're running as a commissioner, hoping you're the top vote getter.
Right.
And I told this story often. I went in, Chet Goodwin was my accountant, insurance guy, super person. I thought he did a great job as the mayor. And this is before I got involved, at least in city government. So I went in and I voted for Chet first. In Millville, you get 5 votes. I give my number 1 vote to Chet. And I get down to the 5th vote, and this guy, I'm thinking, he's a nice guy, but he's not really necessarily cut out to be the mayor, but a nice person. Okay, so I give him my 5th vote. My 5th vote, that guy ends up being the mayor. And it almost killed him. It was so much stress for him. It just wasn't his cup of tea. But how do you turn it down once you get that thing? And his family's like, you got to take it and all that. And he had it for the 1 term. But it's amazing. That's that form of government. Thank God Vineland has the good form of government. And I mean, in all due respect, Mayor, you'll be there as long as you want to be there. I mean, you've done such a great job. It's probably when Stacy says to you, it's enough. We're going to travel a little more or something. But you've just done a fantastic job, and I'm proud of you and the people you've surrounded yourself with. It's really good, my God.
I've been fortunate because in coming up in the elected offices that I've served in
you did
over the years, school
too,
board,
right? Yeah.
city council, and now my 3rd term as mayor, I've gotten to watch guys like you and so many others that have been in office and serve, and you watch, you see people that are really smart, then you see people that are very articulate, then you see people who are just, all class, you see people that are negative, you see people that are argumentative, and you observe. And I've learned bits and pieces from all those people, for the good or the bad, in which I said, I want to be this type of person. And the person I always wanted to be, and I always say it is, I am a very nice person, right? I'm not a mean person by spirit.
Right.
But I like to be a diplomat with a heavy hand, because I think you need to be diplomatic most times, but you have to not be afraid to make a decision.
Right.
Stick by your decision, unless it's wrong, and then sometimes you have to reverse your course. But you have to understand how to deal with people. Everybody should have their time. You know, you don't need to wield with an iron fist. You know, because that's not good either, because then nobody wants to work for you.
Exactly. Right.
And I've been blessed with a fantastic staff.
Oh, you do.
You know, we've recruited great people. We've team built, you know, and you know my staff as well as I do, if not even better.
Oh,
you know, you
super
coach
people.
Bobby D.
Oh, I love
you know?
Bobby.
You know.
What a great little, good high school player. He's a good baseball player. Heck of a pitcher.
Yeah, fantastic.
And what a wonderful family.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God, his mom, fortunately, is still around, Sally. But his dad was just one of the nicest people.
They were, him and Sally were just here sitting on the other side of the restaurant about 10 days ago.
Oh, that's neat.
Having lunch. I came in for a little lunch meeting, and I saw Sally with him. And you know what? She's full of life and spunk. I love her.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She really is. Yeah.
God bless. I mean, she's another one. I hope I have that energy.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why he's such a, and his dad was just such a wonderful man. And we were together at Little League, and got to know them. And
I couldn't ask for anything more out of a business administrator and a friend.
Yeah,
you know, in Bobby.
What a great guy.
You know, his heart's in this city. His soul's in this city. Yeah. You know, he stands by my side. He's behind me 100%. You know, when I'm doing things, he's not afraid to say, "Come here, I got to talk to you." He's like, "I think you may want to approach this way," you know, which is good. It's what you need. You know, in leadership roles, you need people that are not afraid to tell you when you're right and when you're wrong, or when you might be going down the wrong path. So he's very, very good at that, and there's really another one who has helped me excel. Rick Tanetta.
Oh God,
you know, as our city attorney.
Yep.
Sandy Forsiski.
Yeah, I love her too. She does such a great job.
You know, my assistant in the office, Alona.
I don't know her.
You know, who does a phenomenal job for us with everything there and keeps me really on track and things. You know, I mean, my God, my directors, Matt Rabbi and John Lilly, and Tony Quigley, and you know, and you start running it down, you're like thinking, wow, I got Elise McLeod, and just all these people. They're just
and Derek Leary, I love him.
Listen, you know, I got the best of your crew.
You sure did.
I do, and I always tell them, I said, listen, if there's anybody else that's any good over there, let's get them.
Well, and thank God they all went. They were in Millville. I was in county, I think, at that time. But a whistleblower lawsuit those people filed against one of the worst city commissioners I had ever served with. And fortunately, they won. They settled the lawsuit. And then three of them all went to Vineland and just, you know, I know Joy's retired, but Ron and Derek, I just love Derek.
Yep.
Went there, and they're just great people. And Jane Janarone and I did some house flipping in Vineland, super to deal with. They work with you, help you in any way they could. And I love Matt Rabbi's sense of humor. So what a great crew.
He's a special one too.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
You know, we've got great guys. You know, I have great chiefs. Right now, Acting Chief Triantos is doing a good job in the PD. Mark Schifalalio is the Chief of Fire and EMS. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Lou Tramontana is back out of retirement, running OEM for us now.
Super.
Which they've been doing a phenomenal job, especially with coordination with the storms.
Yeah.
You know, people wonder why we enhanced and really created the Office on Emergency Management program here. You know, you see it work all over the place.
Yeah.
Towns like ours sometimes don't have it. You kind of delve off responsibilities, but in the last 8 years, we've really started working on it as its own little department, and now he can run it for us as well, because he did it. It doubled up as fire chief and did it, you know, for no pay.
Right. Yeah.
On top of it, and just we've been able to enhance and do so much more. It's been great, especially parade events.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have our emergency operations center online for all these events, and you know what? They've got somebody from electric and water and police and fire and EMS on standby and in the operations center in the EOC for events. So if something goes on, it's one phone call into one room, and they're dispatching to their various departments immediately. In Public Works, so that way they know what to do and how to handle it. So coordinating for these things has been great. I mean, it's really, we are a big city, and we are running first class.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep, absolutely. We're talking with Mayor Fanucci from the city of Vineland. We'll be back with the mayor right after these messages.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, Just great health care for everyone.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Life puts a lot of demands on us. There's our jobs, those community and charity projects, our friends, and the demands of the family,
Happy birthday.
birthdays and homework, the upkeep and maintenance of our homes, cars, and possessions. Maybe it's time to really weigh out the things of greater importance, our relationship with God. Let us help you. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. Jim Quinn along with Mayor Anthony Fanucci. And Mayor, I know you've got some projects coming up this year on infrastructure. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so as you know, we've done a lot of road work, a lot of underground drainage, a lot of sidewalks, a lot of different programming in those areas in the last 8 years. We have a very aggressive program for this year and for next year already. Now, of course, we plan out about 5 to 7 years anyway, but they have a tendency to change based on need, right? Yeah. But now, like in 2025, once this weather finally gives us a little bit of a break, we're going to be off to the races. There's a lot going to be happening, and they're getting closer to starting the Chestnut Avenue project from Delsea to Maine.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to be so overdue and much needed.
Yeah.
They're in final design phases now. We're still dealing with the feds on that because it's a federally funded project. But we're getting closer with that. That'll be great once that's together.
That's my way of getting across town.
Let's see.
I come off 55.
For
I
you.
take a right on Mill Road, go down to Chestnut, and come across. Not that I don't love Landis. In fact, this is funny. I was out with a friend of mine recently, and we went to Fazzolari's. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to show. She's from Glassboro. I wanted to show her downtown Vineland. She goes, "Oh my God, Jim, this is amazing." I said, "It's we take it for granted, but Landis Avenue is one of the premier main streets in the nation. I'm sure you can't get much better than that."
It's a great spot now that we've been able to pave it from Route 55 all the way down the main road.
Yeah,
we've done the entire city
yes,
portion.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's in great shape. I wish the county would, maybe jump on the county portion and take it from, all the way down here, obviously, but because this is all the county portion up into the county line.
Right.
But take it from here right back up to Maine,
and Landis,
and get that done would be incredible.
Well, I know the director. He's going to be speaking at the chamber luncheon, I think Thursday.
Okay.
We're going to televise it. So,
nice.
Yeah, and Jimmy Sorrow, of course, is the director. I really like he and Sue, and it's nice to have somebody from Vineland, as there with him.
Absolutely.
Of course, I guess Cilio was from Vineland too. But
hey, listen, when you delve out close to $50 million a year.
That's right. You guys are the big contributor to the county. My goodness, you give more than everybody else put together.
They're not kidding. I mean, and I kind of chuckle a little bit, but I'll take the next 60 seconds to be selfish and remind people that when they think about the tax dollars that they pay into Vineland with their tax bill, that only 32 3/4 cents on that dollar comes to the city. The rest goes everywhere else, right? The school board, the county, the library has their piece, and then the open space, which is county open space. Yeah. So we're really running the largest city in the state geographically with all full-time departments. There are no part-time departments in the city of Vineland. On just under 33 cents on a dollar.
Wow.
And it's incredible. So you figure literally a third of what you take in is what you're running the whole city on, the operation. And it's full-time police, full-time fire, full-time EMS, right? Full-time health, full-time planning, full-time zoning, full-time L&I, code enforcement, trash.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is. Oh, I wanted to ask you, with the code, well, we talked about the code enforcement, the trash. You have Pinelands, is that the name of the company?
Yes.
Yeah. He's very well known in Cape May County and was a councilman in Sea Isle City, actually.
Yes, Frank Eduardi.
Frank Eduardi, that's it. Yeah, a friend of mine. She works for him.
And I'll tell you what, they are doing a good job.
That's good.
There are, when I say minimal complaints, minimal, and it could be something random. They happen to have a new driver up here today, and he was unfamiliar with a route, so they got there late, or they missed it, and they got to come back the next day. But that's very rare anymore. They are doing a great job. It's worked out the way we've been able to do it to keep the trash rate level. And that's the thing, people complain, oh, I spend $24 a month or whatever it is on my trash. I remember the days when I lived here on Landis Avenue, literally 9/10 of a mile from where we're sitting, right? We didn't have violent trash pickup. We had to pay for our own.
Wow.
And we had, I don't know if you remember the Higginbothams.
I do.
Right?
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. Higginbotham,
yes.
Zach, would come in and we'd pay him monthly to pick up, the trash. And frankly, they only came once every 2 weeks.
Wow.
So every 2 weeks you would put your trash out and then you had to pay. And back then, we were paying more for that than we are now for what we pay monthly.
That's good.
So I remember, because I was helping my mom support the household.
Wow.
And, it was a big challenge then. So for what they're able to provide, and they've done a great job. It's been a great hybrid where, we own the equipment.
That's right.
They handle the workforce,
Yeah.
It's been a pretty good marriage. And, of course, we'd always like to, save money somewhere, be cheaper.
Yeah.
But honestly, they've done, knock on wood, such a great job.
That's good. I'm glad
I'm happy with what we've done. They've lived up to their contract. And it's been a night and day difference from what we had going on with the ACUA. Yeah. They had their challenges.
Wait, it's funny. Now, we have the ACUA in Millville. I have never had a problem. They've been great. I have to say, for me anyway,
right,
it's worked out really well. And of course, Millville just put on the trash tax, the $20 a month or whatever it is. I guess it's $240 a year.
Right.
It's added to the.
Well, what happened there is when they had us, they were not supposed to expand into another territory.
I see.
And they did. And then they took Millville, which is what, 45?
45 square miles,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
I got 100 some square miles. Wow.
And then COVID hits, and then you wonder why you got a problem.
Yeah, good point.
So and then of course we were getting sacrificed all the time.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not happy about that because I'm thinking we were your first one, we're your biggest one.
Yeah.
We bought all the equipment.
Oh wow.
And that was our structured deal.
Yeah.
And then it was like we were the forgotten child. And that doesn't work for me. Not when I'm taking an oath to protect this city and fight for this city no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's what we had to do. We had to engage in that battle in order to do that. So
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
The Cumberland County, well, it's now called the Authority, but I had
the Improvement Authority. Yep.
Jerry Velasquez on just recently with me, and Jerry and I go back to 2000 when he was hired as the Empowerment Zone Director.
Oh, God,
and then Sandy was his assistant. I mean, great people that went through that program, and luckily the powers to be at the county gave him at least a couple-year contract, 2 or 3 year contract, so he's still on. And I know he's done a lot with the city of Vineland, with the police department anyway, the police building. Right?
Yes.
It was helpful in getting the contracts. And in Millville, he just did the library. And I'll tell you what made me feel good as a county commissioner. I was freeholder at that time. I was on the South Jersey Development Council, and the guy, Will Morey from Cape May County, one meeting was talking about Jerry and the Cumberland County Improvement Authority and how much he loved what they did for them. And I thought, well, they did Route 49 and Route 47 in Middle Township, or Rio Grande actually, and it was a shopping center, it was blighted, and a movie theater, and Jerry went in and did the whole thing for them, and they were thrilled. And then Ben Laurie, he was happy. Jerry helped them with their building over there as well. And I thought, this is nice to hear as a freeholder of Cumberland County, having Cape May and Salem County tell me what a good job one of our
that is fantastic.
Did. It really is. It makes you feel good. And I know Jerry works hard, and he's done a good job, and I'm glad that they left him alone for now. Do you? Oh, yeah, I was going to say, on the Cumberland County Improvement Authority, or the authority, you know who the newest member is, right?
I just heard it's Perry.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't aware of that, but
Yeah.
I don't really delve into the county all that much.
Yeah, I understand.
But they got a very smart guy there.
They
you
sure
know?
do.
He's very good with
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
He
Great
gets
accountant.
the. Oh yeah, sure is, and he gets government.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah, he does. He
So
understands
I'm very happy for him for that.
Yeah.
And I actually have to reach out because I just heard that was confirmed, and I said,
Yeah.
"How about that?" I just heard that today, and I said, "That's great. I really
Yeah.
got to reach out to him and tell him and wish him well because you know he'll again." Selfishly, I like it when somebody from Vineland is somewhere because I know that they're looking out for us, you know, and it's important, and you know, and not only are they looking out for us, but they also know that there's a bigger picture, and it's the whole county, right? And that's always been my gripe with elected officials over the years. I can't be the mayor of East Vineland. I got to be the mayor of all of Vineland, right?
Yeah, show favorites.
And just like you're a freeholder,
Yeah.
you're a freeholder for the whole county.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
listen, is Millville in your heart and soul? Of course. So, you know, are you going to try to lean that way sometimes? Of course. But at the end of the day, you also know that there's so many other people out of 165,000 people that are relying upon you to govern properly and fairly, you know, and you took that very seriously. I can't say the same for every elected official. And I won't call them out individually, but they know who they are over the years. And that's problematic for me because, you know, I never govern that way. And I don't like when that happens.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Speaking of that, I've always been, and I know you are too, whatever I was on, I put 100% into it. I'd attend every single meeting. I would make sure, you know, whatever needed to be done, I'd follow up. Of course, I was lucky, and you were too, because we both had our own businesses.
Sure.
So we could turn it over to our assistant or whatever and go do the things we needed to do. And that's why I say when I look at successes, you're a great success because you've been in business and you know what it takes to run a business. You've had your own employees and all these things. So stepping from a business to the mayor, there's a lot of similarities, and that's what's really good. And sometimes, as I said, I've seen people in Millville especially become mayor, had no clue what they were doing because they've never been involved with that type of stuff. And you know, so again, Millville's form of government is probably one of the worst in the state of New Jersey. I don't think there are 4 or 5 commission forms left in the state.
Yeah, there's very few.
Even Sea Isle City went to mayor council.
Yep.
I mean, and like what you have is perfect. In Vineland, you got a great mayor, you got a great council. They work together. He's executive, they're the legislative branch. You know, and it's just makes a lot more sense. And even Bridgeton does the same, to their credit. And but Millville's still. And I tried when I was back there to try to get it put on the ballot. But what happens, to be honest with you, the commissioners don't want that. Because if you think about being a city commissioner, you're almost like a mini mayor. You have the public safety department, and that's the person, you know, whoever it is, and that's their department, that commissioner's department.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to give up that power and become one of the legislators. He wants to be the executive to that department. But
and it's so short-sighted.
It sure is.
You know, it's sad because, frankly, the form of government is one of the issues and why Millville has challenges, you know, doing business daily. And that's what's problematic because, and you're right, in our form of government, you know, I get to be the ambassador, liaison to the people, the businesses. I have a legislative body that will, you know, enact things and, you know, create legislation that makes sense and work with stuff. But, you know, I never stop my council members from working with the municipal staff directly. I've never had to separate that line. If I ever had an issue where I thought a council member was really overstepping or overreaching, I would sit in and talk about it.
Well, talk to Perry sometime. He'll tell you about a guy that did that.
Oh, I can only imagine.
You know who it is, I'm sure.
But it's the truth.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you, how many men and women do you have in the Vineland Police Department, do you know?
So we have around 165 fully sworn officers right now.
And are you at the maximum?
No. Well, by ordinance, no. We could go a little more. But my goal would be to really get the department up to 175, which will include, you know, administration as well. Because I want to get some more folks out on the street. We have a street crimes unit that's doing really well that we brought back.
That's good.
That was taken out by a previous administrator there. And they're already doing phenomenal things. I would like to add another second shift to that unit and continue. In the Vineland Police Department, there is so much room for advancement.
Yeah.
If you just want to be a patrolman for your entire career, you can do it and get paid very well. If you want to leave patrol and you want to go into a specialty unit, traffic, community policing, juvenile, street crimes, things like that, you have the ability to advance into those sectors. You could become a sergeant. From sergeant, we have, I think, 26 sergeants.
I'm sure.
We have seven or eight lieutenant positions.
That's great.
We have currently, 4 captain's positions, a deputy chief and a chief, right? So we have administrative ranks for people to go to.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The county now is working on creating a SWAT team again.
Oh, that's good.
Of which I think at least half of the members are going to come from our department.
Oh, that's great.
Because they'll qualify as shooters. So we'll be going to county SWAT. I mean, there's a lot of advancement in law enforcement here.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm very proud of the fact that I can say we pay our men and women very well.
Well, that's my point. Was I was talking to friends in Millville. They are approved for 85 officers, and they only have 70. They can't fill those other things because they're not paying, I guess, whatever other people are paying. And in fact, a friend of mine, her son, was #1 in the class several years ago for Millville to be a police officer. Went there for 6 months, transferred to state of Delaware state cop, making all kind of money. And I run into a whole bunch, unfortunately, a lot of the state police officers in our area are former Millville police officers.
Yeah.
And the other thing, well, you don't need it, you got enough people. When I was mayor of Millville, we had 19 special ones, and we had like a couple special twos, which were inexpensive, and the presence was there. Although now I wouldn't put a special one without a gun on 3rd or 4th Street in Millville. That wouldn't be working. But they have one special one, and that's it. They've done away with that.
They're hard to come by. So we have class 1s, class 2s, and they're working on class 3s for the school system right now.
Okay.
And it's hard to fill the class 1s and 2s.
I see.
I wish we had more of them because they're very versatile, and you can fill roles, and you can start training people at a young age.
You used to have quite a few of those.
We did, and then a lot of things, and COVID kind of killed a lot of that off. With the way they frankly, I'll say it, mismanaged, a lot of things throughout the country, and we lost a lot of those people, and the wages were not competitive. But for us, and here's the thing: as well as I pay our people. I wish I could pay them even more.
Sure, they deserve it.
First responders, police, fire, EMS, they deserve every dollar they get.
Yes, they do. For sure.
But we've been very competitive. We were losing people to state police over the years, so we've gotten competitive against them. We were losing people to like Winslow Township and areas like that.
Right.
And people are like, well, and then the unions are always like, well, geez, how come we can't make? I said, we are a city. We are not a full township drawing from multiple areas and getting additional funding sources. It's like the county. How does the county do it?
From 14 municipalities.
Correct, right? So everybody's contributing to the coffers. And the sad part was they weren't paying the sheriff's department SWAT back then, right? They're doing a little better now. Could probably still be even better considering the powers that a sheriff's officer really has. So no, it's very important. And listen, without law and order, there's no economic development. There's no economic retention. There's no quality of life. And I tell everybody that all the time. So I don't ever regret any of the money I spend on our first responders.
Well, and you see you're doing well because your numbers are up and you're not have that big of a gap. So that's been great. Mayor, thanks for coming in. It's great to see you.
Always good to see you, Jim. Thank you.
Always good to see you. Thank you so much. And his mayor's beautiful wife and his 2 beautiful daughters came and they're having dinner while we were doing this show. Thank you, Stacy, for bringing your daughters here as well. Thank you, Ryan Narowski, for producing the show. Always one of my favorites to have the mayor of the city of Vineland, Anthony Fanucci, as my guest here on Insight. And we'll see you soon, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.